Warning, this podcast has stories of real-life events and true crime that happens every day. These stories may contain adult language and graphic or disturbing details not suitable for everyone. Listener discretion is advised.
132 in Bush, I've got him at gunpoint.
They're pulling them out.
10-1-1. Advise ready for escape.
Welcome. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to the part 4 episode of War Stories with That Guy Sleazy. I'm Tom.
I'm Chuck.
And Bryce, you're back for our final
part.
These
4.
people feel like it's taken like a month, and for us, it's been a couple days.
Yeah, just a couple days. Yeah, for them it's forever, but for us it's a couple days. But I'll be honest, I'm surprised that I've been able to sit here and talk for 3 hours so far.
Yeah.
And let's see if we have a part 4, maybe a part 5. I think we'll get it all in part 4, but it might be a part 5 also. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. So you are now when we I feel like the Batman. When last we left our hero.
Attack of the drones.
Right. So you've got these drones overhead.
Yeah. So the drones are buzzing. They're just sitting on top of us now, and
you guys decide to beat feet.
Well, yeah. So we have the artillery busting over our heads. We have clutch munition, which is very scary because you hear the one pop of it blowing up on top of your head, and then you have about 8 more pops, and that's all the shrapnel. Basically, it's one large explosion which releases 8 more explosions, and then all 8 of those blow up. Yeah. So basically, it's just cluster shrapnel, a larger area of shrapnel and stuff.
So that was in fact that Russian drones overhead calling out your position.
Oh yeah, 100. Because all this was not indirect. This was 100% direct fire. Like it was accurate fire. Like these were Russian drones that were sitting on top of us, basically mapping out where we are and stuff like that for their artillery and for their BMPs.
Yeah, I was about to say it sounded like you're getting direct fire from the BMPs and their QRF, all because the infantry unit that was not your guys' infantry unit, but another infantry unit, just decided to walk like they're back on the block, bebopping down the fucking street in the middle of the fucking field and staying out of, staying in eyesight, and instead of concealing themselves in the tree line.
Right. Yeah, essentially. But I'll tell you exactly why we really started getting shot at in a second. But we're taking all this stuff, and I'll tell you what was going through my head at the time, and then during the after action report and the debrief, what happened on the large scale, right? So we're taking extra munitions, 20mm cannons blowing up. We have accurate artillery rounds, and then a lot of small arms getting shot from the tree line, and machine gun fire from the tree line that we were doing a reconnaissance on. And that was very indirect because there were some shots way up in the trees and stuff like that. They were just kind of raping us, just hoping to get somebody really. But the 20mm cannon was very accurate, and the artillery was very accurate. At one point it was very accurate, and while we're running, we all just kind of dropped to basically give it a second to assess the situation, come up with a quick game plan, and hopefully that that 20mm cannon started working on, I hate to say it, another position our guys were at, that way we could fucking exfil. But at the same time, we were at the very front of our very end of our patrol, so we were the first ones basically to leave, essentially, right?
Right.
So if we get got, then everybody's getting got.
Right.
Right. So, so while we're laying there, we're figuring it out. Come to find out, we know that there is a BMP to the left of us, basically in between friendly position and us right now. And then there's also at least one BMP on the other side of the tree line where we were at and the Russians. So they're sandwiching us.
Oh, great. They're trying to flank, right?
just straight sandwich us while they're dropping, all the munitions. And
Fuck.
so I was scared shitless, right? I'm like, fuck, like, this is it. We're done. I'm done. Like, this is it. And I had already told myself that I would never become a POW. No, there's no ifs, ands, questions, ifs, ands, buts about it. There's no questions. I will not become a Russian POW. I'd already seen what they'd done to a couple of the other foreigners that came over and became POWs. Some of them were killed. Some of them, they were all tortured and held under horrendous conditions. Some of them were killed before they ever got to see their day in court, and then some of them were sentenced to death in kangaroo court. Fortunately, two of those guys, they actually did end up getting released and stuff like that. But anyway, I always decided that I would never be. That I always had at least one grenade on me that was going to be my last farewell to the world. That way there was no questions, ifs, ands, buts about it, that I would die. So that's all going through my head. Like, hey man, I'm gonna fight like hell until it's time to fucking pull that pin, and be done. At that moment, that's when it kind of dawned on me. It was like, stop being scared, dude. You're either gonna live or you're not.
Right.
It's that, or either you're gonna make it through this mission, or you're gonna make it through this mission. So being scared does nothing except for worry you and frighten you. So stop being fucking scared. Stop being a pussy and just fucking do the work that you signed up for and that you're trained to do. Fucking do it. So it was like a little switch, man. It's the best way I can describe it. It was a switch that, like, I literally was like, okay, boop, flip the switch, and that switch stayed flipped just like that for the entire time that I was in Ukraine. Both times, I just stopped being scared. And it's funny that it's weird to say that, but like didn't matter what mission I ever went on, I was no longer ever scared because I never expected make it out of that mission. I always thought I was going to die on that next mission. That next mission, I was dead. That next mission, I was dead. So once that flip was switched, we ended up, the 20 millimeter cannon blew a couple trees up right next to us. We had an artillery round hit, I don't know, maybe 15 meters in front of us, maybe 20 max. And once that cannon kind of went veered off, we picked up and started hauling ass back to friendly positions. So while we were running back down the initial tree line that we came up, right, 1 kilometer tree line that we walked to get to our position, they ended up dropping white phosphorus on top of us. So yeah, that made my butthole pucker up a little bit because getting shot or blown up, cool, whatever. I've been shot before, I hadn't been blown up yet, but whatever. But all this shit, I was like, man, but burning to death, that's my biggest fear in the entire world. Burning alive.
That's on my list. That's pretty near the top of my list.
Just know that you'll feel it for a second, but then you won't feel it anymore.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to feel it for that second.
Or you might not feel it at all. Unless it's
Yeah.
just really bad second degree.
Yeah, but as soon as because like we heard it, so what happens, like we heard it pop above us, but we were like, that was a weird sound. It didn't sound like any clusters. It didn't sound like artillery. Just like, and we've heard duds before, and duds never really made a popping noise. We're like, what the fuck was that? That was weird. And then all of a sudden, like while we're running, like me and a buddy behind me, we're talking like while we're running, and everything around us lit up, like engulfed in flames. And I have a quick small little video that I took on my phone like while we were running of like everything around us engulfed in flames. But breathing through not only the smoke from all the grass and trees and shit like that being on fire.
Can you send that to us?
Yeah, I can. I think it
You'll have
might
to send it.
also be on my YouTube channel. Maybe it's like a 3-second video, 5-second video. It was real quick, like while I was running. But yeah, I can also send it over to you. But the smell, chemical smell of phosphorus burning that hurt also. Just the smell of the shit burning on top of the heavy smoke of everything. But we ended up making it back to a friendly position. All my guys made it back unharmed. Like we were all accounted for. and we ended up being exfilled and taken out. And during our after action report, we come to find out that the other infantry unit that came through, they were not tasked with setting up shop and hanging out like our infantry was tasked to do. That infantry unit was tasked with assaulting that Russian element that was right there. And they failed to let us know what they were about to do.
Okay, so let me
So
see.
we couldn't get ready for a gunfight. We just got surprised with bullets flying at us.
So let me see if I can do this.
It'd be on my shorts if you're looking for that video. It'd be under the shorts thread. I might not have posted, but I think I might have.
See. Yeah, so I can put this up.
So you ultimately make it out of that tree line, obviously, right?
Yeah. We all my guys made it out, and I think all but approximately 3 to 5 of the Ukrainians made it out. So yeah, it's real quick, but you can see at the very beginning all that out there, and
yeah, you can see it right there.
Yeah. So right there where that branch is, you can see and heavy smoke. But I'll stop talking for a second when you play it, but you can just hear the fire engulfing everything.
All right, here we go. See being here. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, the wind noise is wind noise, but in the back you can hear that just roaring,
sizzling.
Crack.
Roaring, sizzling crackle. Yeah. But yeah. I wanted to get it, but I wasn't concerned on it. I was trying to get the fuck out of it. But yeah. So I think all but I want to say it was like 3 to 5 of the Ukrainians ended up dying that day, and several of them were injured. But yeah, they decided that they were tasked with assaulting that Russian element that we were reconning and waiting for our guys to show up, and they didn't let us know that what they were about to do. If they let us know, obviously, our orders are to sit there and hang out and wait, but we could have at least got ready for a fight. When those BMPs started rolling up on us, we could have been ready with no AT weapons, and start smacking them whenever they rolled up and stuff. But also come to find out that there was 4 BMPs, 2 on each side, sandwiching us. Yeah. So I 100% should have died that day. How none of my guys were injured or hurt or anything is beyond me. I don't know, but yeah. So
that's what led you to just end up saying, okay, I'm done, going back to the States.
So that started the groundwork. So
okay.
So now our infantry has yet to set up shop in that tree line like they were supposed to.
Right.
So and I believe the Russians had moved in to part of that tree line because they knew we were there. So hey guys, we'll go ahead and fucking take this part. That way y'all can't. It's right, and it gave them another 800 meters of territory. Well, now our mission is to regain that tree line. And what our commander did for probably over the span of, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, we assaulted the exact same way, the exact same trench line with no supporting elements. I want to say it was about 4 or 5 times.
Well, that's a recipe for disaster.
Wow.
The philosophy from that commander was you did it 100 times, cool. They'll never expect 101.
Fuck. So did you guys ultimately end up taking that tree line?
So I was not there for that. I mean, we ran a few other missions. Yeah, by the time they took that tree line. I mean, we did. I was there for a few other assaults of different areas. We helped liberate one village. So I was there for some other stuff, but for that specific mission, I wasn't. Hell, even I was strafed by a Russian fighter jet at that position. We were sitting on that long infield tree line to get to that position. We were taking heavy indirect fire from artillery and stuff, so we couldn't move. So basically, we just hung out in that tree line, got dispersion, hung out in the little ditch next to that tree line, and then behind some thicker trees and stuff. And one day while we were sitting there, so that mission was a surprise to us that we didn't know we were going on. So that morning, I thought we get our brief every morning, whether we have a mission that day or not. And we were told no mission. We're like, all right, cool. So, just hanging out at base, just playing ping pong or watching movies and stuff like that. And I so having to shit, but it wasn't ready yet. So, just kind of waiting for it to mull over and get ready. And while I was doing that, the commander kind of came out and said, hey, gear up. Y'all are going on a mission, 10 minutes. Fuck. I was like, I can get ready in 2 minutes and be in the truck, good, ready to go. 2 to 5 minutes, depending on if I got my boots on or not. So I was like, cool, I can have everything ready. Do I go to the bathroom real quick before this mission, or do I just hold it until the mission's over and do it then? I was like, I'm just gonna hold it. I still ain't gotta go that bad. Like, it's cool, it's good. So we step off of the mission. We're probably about 2 hours into it of just sitting there taking IDF. It doesn't seem like anything's letting up anytime soon. So I holler at the guy next to me and say, yo, man, I'm gonna hit the back of the tree line and I gotta take care of business, man. Like, there's no way I can fight like this. Like I was getting like the cold sweats and everything like that. It was bad. Like, it was, the adrenaline kind of kicked it into high gear, and it was coming. So so I go to the back of the tree line, grab my baby wipes, take care of business. And as I'm coming back to my position, we can we heard some aviation before, way out in the ways, nowhere near us. But this time, all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, we didn't hear any artillery set off. We didn't hear, it was quiet. And then all of a sudden, the entire tree line started blowing the fuck up, just getting lit the fuck up. And then as soon as it stops, you hear the jet peel off and hit its afterburners and just fucking take off. And so as the tree line's fucking blowing up, I just fucking jump and take cover. And sure enough, we got strafed by a fighter jet on our tree line. Yeah,
So
one of my buddies had shrapnel from his cannon backpack. Yeah. Yeah.
So that had to have been like the last straw. You're like, okay, I'm fucking done. You're gonna get us all killed.
No, dude, that wasn't the last straw. I think I still went on like 2 other missions. What was the last straw? The last straw was.
Please tell me that the last straw is this, because I want to know about this picture.
No. That's my second deployment.
Right.
So I went on a couple missions, and I've already been talking to an Army recruiter, because I was like, you know what, man, like I want to go back to the States and go do cool man shit, boogeyman shit, right? And so I was talking to an Army recruiter, and he was like, yeah, man, you're good, dude. I've already looked at all your shit. You're good. And I even asked him, I said, is me being in Ukraine going to hinder anything? Because, going Green Berets, you have to have a fucking security clearance. And I was like, surely me being in Ukraine, fighting for Ukraine, is going to hinder that security clearance. Like, it has to. And he was like, let me look into it. And, he looked into it and he said, no, man, you're good, dude. You're 100% good. Nothing's wrong. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to break my fucking contract and I'm going to come back to the States and, try to go Green Berets and, go do boogeyman shit. Also, my body is tore up from the Marine Corps already, and I have a 0% VA disability. So I was just going to start dropping all kinds of VA claims while I was active duty so I could fucking get my percentage up and shit. But as well as do like boogeyman shit that I wanted to do, but, really cool shit. So I come back to the States. I don't get hassled by TSA or by Customs and Border Control like I thought I was going to. They did pull me aside, like question me for 5 minutes, but the dude was just, I told him that I was an instructor. That's all I did was in Ukraine, and I had paperwork from the military saying that I was an instructor. So I just showed him that, and he was like, all right, cool, man, whatever. And come to find out that I couldn't join the Army, and the recruiter didn't tell me why. He was just like, oh man, we're just waiting on paperwork. And I was like, look, dude, we've been waiting on paper for a month. I told you I only want to be back in the States for 2 weeks before I went to boot camp and, and did everything all over again. And we're a little over a month. So you have I got back October 1st. I'll say October 1st. And I think I'm in mid-November now. And I said, by December 3rd, if I don't have paperwork, back to Ukraine. Simple. You have until this day to give me my contract and get me into the army, or I'm going back to Ukraine. And he didn't. So I went back to Ukraine. And I already told you about Nucking Futz Yuri. I was still in close contact with him. So I hit him up. I said, yo, man, do you have room for a guy? And I was like, and I had a medic coming with me, another Marine that's a U.S. Marine that is also a paramedic and stuff like that. And he'd already fought in Irpin and Mashun in Ukraine, and he wanted to go back and be a medic again. So I had him coming along with me, and he was like, yeah, man, I got room for 2 of you. I was like, cool, bet. So once again, I packed my bags. This time I got a huge suitcase full of medical aid donated to us, and went back to Ukraine and went to the Donetsk Oblast region. I'm not going to say exactly where I was because my guys are still over there fighting right now. But we were fighting in Donetsk, and so I get there, and it's January.
By the way, for those of you who don't know, an oblast region is similar to like a state,
a state,
a county, or a district. It's like it's like a state within.
Yeah, it's like a state.
So,
Yep.
So,
so and it's I think I got there like January 15th, 17th, something like that. So it's dead of winter, fucking cold. And I brought a lot of cold weather gear. And one of my friends in Lviv, her family gives a lot of supplies and aid to soldiers and different units and stuff like that. And actually the best piece of cold weather gear I ever got was from her. And it was like these thermals that they were thin-ish, but they would keep you warm in like negative 30 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, they're like the silk thermals. Yeah.
They were fucking great.
So you now were in the like the summer. Now you're in the winter.
Now I'm in the winter. Yep.
And now it seems like it's a lot more spicy.
So I haven't fought yet. So I get there. I got to get my contract again. So I go. This time I didn't have to go do my whole
region.
Oh yeah. The Donetsk.
So it's gonna be spicy. Okay, got it.
I already know shit is gonna be fucking popping.
So it's wintertime, and you've got your skivvies, and you're in a spicier area than you would have been in last time.
Yep. So
and now, how do they kit you out? It's an AK again?
No. So this time, this unit that I'm with is a reconnaissance strike unit. Same. I'm still in the 59th Brigade, but a different unit. It actually ended up being a Marine unit. Everyone in my unit was Ukrainian Marines. So I ended up signing a contract with the intelligence bureau attached to the 59th Brigade, and it was all Marines. I was with all Marines. United States Marine as well as Ukrainian Marine, which is cool. But anyway, so I have to go basically to the headquarters, fill out all paperwork again, get my contract, and then there I had a lot of winter gear that I already brought, but they're like, hey man, you're gonna come with us, and they gave me more shit. So their stuff, it was literally just in our house, and a guy walked in. He was already there. We walked in, and he goes, "All right, man. Do you want a jacket?" I was like, "Yeah, man. I'll take another jacket." So he gave me a Ukrainian army jacket. He gave me thermal socks or wool socks, and they say ZCU on it. The 3CY is ZCU. Basically means Armed Forces of Ukraine. They gave me some new Poly Pro. Yeah, GI Joe socks, exactly. They gave me new Poly Pro, and for the waffle tops, tops and bottle. They gave me new shit of that. They gave me,
what was the firearm they issued you? The rifle.
I'm getting there. They gave me, the big mittens like you see from like the Korean War, like the big
Yeah.
like mittens.
Yeah.
I got a pair of those, which is way
It's
cool.
cold in there in the wintertime.
I only used them when I was in the turret of the Humvee on
There
the
you go.
50. That's the only time. That's the
There
only
you
time I used it.
It's
But
always
my
surprising.
rifle, yeah. So we get back to the base, and I'm waiting for my rifle, and everybody has Polish grots. So I need a Polish grot with an ACOG sight on top. Polish grot was cool. I liked it a lot, but I hated it at the same time because it could have gotten me and one of my buddies killed because the gas
Was it the
block
bullpup
system.
version or was it the ACR version? Do you know?
Couldn't tell you.
So
It
one
had a
has
fo-
the
it had
magazine in
a
front of
it
the
had a
grip.
folding stock
Did it have the magazine in front or behind the grip?
in front, just like a
Like an
it was
ACR.
literally it was
Yeah.
exactly like an AR-15 or an M16, except for instead of it being a right-sided injection, it was completely ambidextrous. So I had an ejection port on both sides. I had a selection switch on both sides. All you had to do was take the bolt out, and yep, exactly like that. Yep, that was the rifle.
It's a Polish version of a Bushmaster ACR, I believe.
Yeah. And your charging handle is on both sides, and it's at the front versus back here at the rear next to the stock. I love the weapon, except for the gas block system failed on my weapon and on a buddy's weapon while in firefights. So yeah, if that was my only complaint was the gas block system on it. But yeah, so I get my shit and we start. Yeah, I got better gear, I got better shit, and we're rocking and rolling. This unit we did a lot of reconnaissance, and most of it was at night. Like I had a GoPro that I brought to fucking film all my combat shit, but it was at night, so I couldn't use it. And but here I had MVGs, and actually I brought my own mount this time, so I was able to mount it. Well, my medic brought it for me, but he brought me a rhino mount for me. That way we could actually mount onto our helmets and shit like that and be hands free to be able to do shit. But we did a lot of our missions at night.
You're dressed the part now too.
Yeah,
so how with all the ninja gear, how do you end up taking a grenade 2 meters from your face?
So believe it or not, ninja shit doesn't protect you from grenades, which is wild.
Right, I've heard that.
Yeah, so we do a lot of assaults on different positions, a lot of recon, a lot of fun stuff. But you get so there's one trench position that we had assaulted once before at night, and we failed to capture it because we were probably about 50 meters or less from it. And I was the point man. And we were taking contact from this trench while we were assaulting into it. And on the rifle that I had at the time, I had an AK-64U with a thermal scope on top. And while I'm engaging these guys in the trench, I just happened to look past the trench a little bit, and I saw armored vehicles coming towards us, and we didn't have any AT weapons at the time. So we ended up exfilling and just basically backing the fuck out of there. So probably about 3 weeks later, we launched a huge assault on this entire area, not just this specific trench. But my team's mission was to take this specific trench. So for about a week, and right now I don't know what the mission is, but for a week, my commander is having me train all my guys as well as several other units on basically how to assault trenches and take positions and stuff like that. While I was in this unit, I kind of became the training sergeant. You know, I was doing all the training for everybody, as well as marksmanship training and everything like that, medical training. I was the training guy to train everybody, make sure everybody was up to speed on good, solid tactics. So I do training with guys for about, I want to say it's like 4 days. And on the 5th day, it's finally my commander came up to me and he showed me the drone footage. He was like, "Do this trench?" And I was like, yeah. It was from a few weeks ago, you know, whatever. And he was like, "Yes." He goes, "Y'all are assaulting this trench as well as the one behind it. And 2 other units are going to be assaulting this trench and this trench and this and here. I was like, cool. I was like, is that what I need to train these guys to do right now? And he's like, yes. So I trained them on this exact trench. Now that I know where it's at and I've been there before, I know the lay of the land. I can train them exactly how to enter this trench, what we need to do, and everything like that. So that's what we do on the last days. We kind of put everything that building blocks, everything that I already been training with, stuff like that. And now we specialized it to this specific trench. So we do that, and then that next night we step off for the mission. We stepped off probably about 11 o'clock at night. I have my MBGs on me, and stuff like that. I didn't bring my rifle with the thermal scope because I knew the assault was going to be in the morning, so it was going to be daylight. So I didn't need a thermal. So I brought I took my Grot instead of my AK. So actually, let me rewind. I had 2 rifles. I had an AK-74U with a thermal scope that was actually our commander's, but obviously he's not going out on mission. So anytime that we had night missions and stuff like that, I would take that rifle with me. That way I had a thermal scope and everything. But my day missions, I would take my Grot. We TBI moment. I don't know where I was at.
We were going towards the grenade near your dome piece.
Yes. We did the training.
Getting ready to step off with your Grot.
Yep, stepped off. So we leave the house about 11 o'clock that night, and we are approximately 45 minutes from the front line. So we meet up with a few guys at the HQ. We picked up a couple of guys, threw them in the Humvees, and then we go to our first staging where several units are converging and meeting up to go to the next assault positions. We sit there for probably about an hour or whatever. We walk through, then we step off, walk through several more of our friendly positions until we get to our last stepping point. And my team is myself, one of my Ukrainian counterparts, or excuse me, one of my American counterparts, cool dude, Rusty, fucking solid dude. And then several, three Ukrainians from my specific team. And then I want to say I had 3 Ukrainians from another unit that I trained, and they were attached to my team at that time. So now we're waiting. It's still I want to say it was like 0-5, and we're not supposed to step maybe 0-4, but we're not supposed to assault until the tank assaults the position. So we had supporting elements this time. We had a tank, we had artillery, and then we had the Humvees that were going to drive up and lay down some 50s while we were coming up to them, because we had about 100. It was about 100 meters of open field. Well, it wasn't open field. We held the tree line, but about 100 meters of tree line before we got to that position. And so we're waiting for daylight, and sure enough, soon as yep, all the suppressive fire. Yep. So we wait till daylight. Dawn happens. Sun starts coming up. We hear the tank working on one position off in the distance, letting that team assault. And then he got done laying down, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 rounds on that position. And then he shot at our position that we were about to assault probably about 4 or 5 times. And then as soon as he got done laying that down, the Humvees with the 50s roll up probably about 50 meters behind us and start laying down a shit ton of suppressive fire. So that was our cue to, hey, we're assaulting. And one of the Ukrainians, actually he's Georgian, but was with us. He was supposed to be the point man. He was actually supposed to be the point man for several other missions, but he's a fucking pussy and would be like, no, y'all go, and then fucking in the rear with the fucking gear, because he's a fucking pussy. So I noticed that he's not stepping up like he's supposed to. So I even look at my American counterpart, and he and I talked about it. Rusty and I talked about it, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna have to go first again. Like I already know it. And sure enough, he didn't fucking step up. So I was like, well, It's like I'm going first again. And I had my GoPro running to document everything. You know, this is so. Oh, he buddy fucked me hard, and he's buddy fucked me before, so I was expecting it. But since it was daytime, I brought my GoPro to document everything. And so we start pushing up this tree line, and once we get about 30 to 40 meters from the trench, they started shooting at us from their dugout position where they have like little shooting portholes and stuff like that. And I heard a crack go over my head, and I was like, it's on. So we started laying down some suppressive fire while we were moving. My dumbass forgot to open up my dump pouch before we stepped off. So when I got done with, if I don't know what dump pouch is, it's where you keep your empty magazines. You don't just throw them on the ground, because how are you going to refill a magazine that's 100 meters behind you when the firefight's over here? But so we're all walking up and engaging, and it was supposed to start the bounding movement. And I'm trying to tell them, like, hey guys, like, y'all go, like, you know, bound. And but any that's been in combat knows no mission survives first contact. As soon as those first rounds start coming at you, you know, you just try to stay as close to the mission plan as possible. Good, but no mission survives first. Kind of like, was it Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson? You go, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, it was Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, yes, exact same philosophy. So I forgot to open up my dump pouch. So, you know, I expend one magazine, I drop it, I reach back to drop my dump pouch. I'm like, oh shit. So I end up taking a knee right there, trying to fiddle with my fucking dump pouch with one hand while I still have my fucking rifle in the air, waiting to fucking do a quick mag swap. And everyone stopped. No one's assaulting. Everyone stopped except for one Ukrainian. One Ukrainian just kept fucking pushing.
Oh, that's not good.
I was like, it's not at all. But so I'm yelling at these guys. I'm like, divide, like go, go, go. Like, while I'm sitting here trying to fuck with my dump pouch, shit like that. Like, I'll play catch up. It's cool. Y'all need to assault. Keep pushing. And
more guns downrange, the better.
Exactly. Luckily, they're still shooting. They're just standing, kneeling right next to me and shit like that. I'm like, oh fuck, like, this is not okay. So I end up getting my dump pouch opened up. I dropped my magazine, pulled a new one, you know, good to go, back in the fight. And now I'm playing catch up with the guy in front of me. That way I have more rifles downrange. And as soon as we walk up on this position, I see one, maybe two Russians, like, from inside the trench duck into like their little bunker area. So I know there's Russians back in that little back corner area. So we lob a couple grenades into the far side of the trench that I can't really see too well, just in case they're hiding in that little area. Mm-hmm. Those go off perfect. You know, I kind of pie out a little bit. That way I can see that open area. I see that there's a big hole in front of me in the trench. So like, I'm at the edge of the trench and I look down and I can see a big hole cut out into the side of the trench. So I'm like, fuck, there might be a Russian like hiding up into there. So I get ready to jump into the trench. And the key for trench assaults is get into the trench as quick as possible. You don't want to be standing out in the open. Get the fuck in there and start fucking slaying bodies. But at the same time, a lot of the Russians now are mining the outskirts of their trenches, or they'll set up shit inside their trench for whenever you jump into it and they go into their bunker. So I'm also scanning for that. So we're all kind of huddled up at the end of the trench, and man, it would have been fucking shooting fish in a barrel if somebody decided to fucking pop out and start shooting at us. Yeah, he would have got, but he would have easily tagged several of us.
Right. We say the first cop is free, because that's the bottom line.
Yep. Yeah. You're gonna get one, maybe two of us, but yeah, you're gonna pay for it, but yeah, you're gonna get it. But yeah, so I jump into the trench and I jump in right where that little hole is, and as soon as I jump in, I fire at least one round as my eyes are adjusting to the dark hole and everything like that. That way I at least have one round going in there to possibly help neutralize whatever threat is in there. I noticed that clear, it's just a backpack sitting there. and I immediately turn around and start clearing the rest of the trench. Come up, and then it's kind of the best way to describe it. It kind of makes, think of an S, but instead of it being like completely curved, straighten out those curves a little bit to where it's more of like just a wave, so to speak.
Right.
And in the middle of that wave is where their bunker is, and it digs into the side of the ground to where there's ground on top, and it's just a nice little safety bunker inside of there. So I immediately, and it's being covered by this black, thick, kind of like fire retardant blanket almost. I only say fire retardant because after I threw several grenades, I would see it like start to catch fire, and then it would immediately go out, kind of like a fire retardant blanket would do. So I lob a couple grenades there. I'm shooting a bunch of rounds in there. Rusty, my American counterpart, he takes one of the Ukrainians. He pushes back over to the back side of the trench to where now there's two of us at each end of the trench, and we're just focusing on this, this dugout, the fatal frontal, the entrenched position, the dugout position. And I lob, probably about 4 or 5 grenades in there, shoot a handful of times. And I tell the Ukrainian behind me, I'm like, hey man, tell them to surrender. Tell them to come out and surrender. He yelled at them in Russian. I think he said, he's like, come out, faggot. that's all he says. Like, come out, faggot. I was like, again, like keep it coming. So he yells out again.
Is this in Russian or English?
Yeah, in Russian. Okay. Yeah. I want to say it's like he called him. He said, "Come out, bitch," and then he said like, "Come out, faggot," or something like that. But Vikadi Suka, I'm probably saying it wrong, but Vikadi Suka means like come out. But anyways, fucking they don't come out, so I lob a few more grenades in there. I shoot a few more times, and my weapon stops shooting. I'm like, well, that's not good. I was like, I'm not dry. So I immediately think I have a stoppage. So, fucking tap rack bang, right? Fucking tap rack bang, didn't go bang, but a round did eject. So I was like, all right. So I dropped my magazine. I fucking, check my slide and everything again. Fucking put it back in. Try to shoot, nothing. What the fuck? Or no, I take it back. It shot once, but then it wouldn't shoot again. So I racked it and it would shoot. And then I was playing that game. Like, well, that's not fucking good. So I grabbed another grenade from a buddy, one of the Ukrainians. I lobbed that in there while I'm still trying to fuck with my rifle. It's not wanting to work. So I grabbed the Ukrainian behind me. I grabbed his AK. I was like, your rifle. And he gave me his rifle. I poked back into the dugout, putting rounds down range in there. And then I tell him, hey man, tell them to surrender again. And while he's telling them to surrender, I'm sitting there fucking with my rifle, trying to get my rifle to work. And this time I got it to work. It was the gas block. It dawned on me that Rusty's rifle stopped working because of the gas block. So I sat there and I reached at the front of the rifle and I fucked with the gas block a little bit and pushed it back together. Started working again. So I gave the Ukrainian his AK back and threw a couple more grenades. Fired probably another magazine of ammunition into 30 rounds into the bunker. And at this point, Rusty's like, hey man, I have a porthole over here. And I knew where the porthole that he was talking about because I saw it on the way up into the trench. Right. And it's just it's a shooting hole for them. And I didn't want him to expose himself to that hole unless it was case scenario to either shoot into it or drop a grenade or something. So I told him, I said, hey man, hold off. Let me throw one more grenade, call out for a surrender. And if they don't, then, that'll be phase 2 of the plan. And so I migrate, it blows up. I poked my head into a cest, dropped a few rounds, shot a few rounds into it. And while I was doing that, I felt a huge blast of pressure hit my face and my chest. And I back up, and within milliseconds now, I'm thinking to myself and checking my body at the same time. I'm like, did I just step into my own grenade? And while I'm checking, you know, my chest and my arms and everything like that, I'm like, there's no way I stepped in my fucking grenade. I watched it blow up. I watched, you know, the back pressure blow the blanket out. I watched the dirt from the ground move. Like, there's no way I stepped into my fucking grenade. At the same time, I look down at my shoulder and I can see I have blood from my shoulder, but like, hey man, it's cool. It's not arterial. It's just a little bit of blood. No biggie. I look down at my arm again. I see blood, not arterial. So I was like, no biggie. I look at my right arm on my bicep. I see blood again, not arterial. So I'm like, I can still fight. I'm good. And I at this exact same time while I'm doing all that, I'm also thinking, once I realized that it wasn't my grenade that I stepped into, I'm like, fuck. They're trying to assault out of their position. They're trying to make, you know, a last ditch effort. So while that's happening, and it's probably only a second, maybe 2 seconds have gone by, but it feels like eternity. At the exact same time, I'm thinking that, immediately put myself in that fatal funnel to start shooting again in case they were trying to assault out. I could stop the fuck was there and drop them in their tracks. But as I start to do that, my eye starts filling up with blood, and like I can't see anymore out of my right eye. All I can see is like, think of like a bag of like I don't know, red blood essentially, and hold it up to the light, and that's what it looked. You know, I couldn't.
It's like you're looking through like it's like being underwater and the pool is filled with red food coloring.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. That's a great analogy. But yeah, so I probably put, I don't know, 5 to 10 rounds into the hole. Realized that nobody is shooting back at me, so I back out. And I tell the Ukrainian behind me, he was my medic, and I tell him, I was like, hey man, I'm hit, and I holler out to there's only one other American with me, Rusty. I tell him, I was like, yo man, I'm hit. And I was like, you good? I was like, yeah, man, I think I'm okay. I just can't see. And he was like, okay. So he kind of took point at that position because I was still a point man. So he took at that time. And I exfilled myself from the trench. And 2 thoughts came through my head at this time. Do I sit here and hold this position fucked up the way I am? Because I don't know how bad my face is. I really have no idea how bad my face is. I don't feel any pain, but I can't see. So the worst thing that kind of came through my mind was about a month before, the medic that I brought, the other Marine, he got blown up on one of our missions by a Cornet missile, and he actually lost his entire right eye. Like it was just a black hole. Yeah. So I was there for that, you know, help patched him up and take him to the hospital. But so that's kind of what's stuck in my mind, is like, I just need medical aid right now. Like I need to get the fuck out of here. I can't fight. Like I'm no good to because I can't see. Like I just need to get the fuck out. So I exfilled myself about 1 kilometer back to our original starting position. And that's where I ended up getting thrown into a Humvee. They took my rifle. They took all my shit off of me, and took me to a triage hospital where they sewed up my face a little bit, where I had a big old hole in right above my lip, and they dressed my arms for my other shrapnel wounds in my arm, and then they gave a 3-hour ambulance ride to Dnipro, where I went there, and I immediately had underwent eye surgery there. My retina was torn in 3 places, and so they did so they immediately did surgery that day when I got there, and then that next morning they did another surgery on my eye and pulled out a big piece of shrapnel from my eye and everything like that. But
damn, you didn't even feel it go in.
No, I didn't feel that. Man, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any of the pain in my shoulder, even days while recovering and stuff like that. My shoulder and my arm, everything felt completely fine. Like it was nothing. The worst part was I couldn't see. That's the only. I had zero pain the whole time. It was just I could not see. So I stayed in a hospital for about a month in Ukraine, and at this point, I was just worried about my eyesight. My plan was to come home, get my eye fixed with better medical care here in the States,
Right.
regain vision in my eye, and then go back and fight again. Like that was 100% my plan. Like I had zero intentions of, you know, hanging up my gear and not going back to fight. But I still can't see out of my eyes, so I'm not going to. I can see. I can see. I have decent peripheral vision, but like straightforward is fucked. And everything's real blurry and foggy. Like think of like, you know, you were a kid swimming in the pool all day, and you know, open your eyes and shit,
Hazy.
and then later that, yeah, real hazy. Think that like a million. Like it's real foggy, dirty, murky, blurry. Like I can see shapes and colors, but like I can't see definition of anything, and I can't see more than shit. My room right here is, I don't know, maybe 30 feet long, and I can't see the door.
Yeah.
So
wow.
like I can,
So there
like
goes,
yeah.
so there goes your
so
chance of going back. Right.
Right. Well, they still want me to go back. My Ukrainian command and the guys over there, the Ukrainians, they would love for me to come back, and because some of the missions I was just a 50 gunner, so they're like, you can just sit on the 50, you know, or you know, you can just do training for the brigade. You know, I could be the specific training guy for the entire brigade.
Right.
But I decided to say no to all that because I know I would be like an addict, like a crack addict. Like if you have a recovering crack addict, you're not gonna say, hey man, here's the fucking pipe and here's the crack rock and the light. Can you hold this for me? But don't smoke any of it. I know I will. I'll sit there and I'll be training for a month or whatever, and I'll get a wild itch, and somebody be like, hey man, we have a really fucking easy, low risk fucking recon mission. We're going to support the engineers while they lay mines, which we did a lot of. And 9.5 times out of 10, there is zero contact with that. It's, I mean, lines, but there's zero contact. But I know that I'm gonna go on it, and there'll be zero contact. It'll be nothing. It'll be fine. And I still got, you know, I got a little bit of that rush. Well, then there'll be another time where it's gonna be the exact same mission, but we do catch contact. And I'm not okay with risking. If something happens to me, cool, what, it's my fucking fault. I chose to go with fucking poor visibility. That's on me. But if I don't see something, or I don't react in time because I should have seen something sooner, and one of my boys gets hurt or killed, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. There's absolutely zero way I'd be able to live with myself. So I just kind of completely pulled myself away from the situation.
With your eyeball the way it is, I would want to be fully, you know, like, okay, if you lost an eye and you were recovering to a point where you just knew you only had one eye and you were learning that was new normal, that would be your 100%. But it's kind of strange. My wife has some vision impairment in one eye, and she said that it would almost be better if she just had the one eye, because the bad eye messes up what she sees with the good eye, right? So she has to close one eye when she wants to see something really well. Anyway,
if I focus on something, I'll close my right eye and just focus with my left. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, even on
right?
Go ahead.
Now you're home.
Yeah, I was in Ukraine for another couple of months, just you know, doing healing and then waiting for my separation paperwork from the military, and then I came home.
And you chronicled your journey, your adventures, your misadventures on Instagram, but you also have a YouTube channel. And I would be remiss if we didn't give you a chance at the end of we've spent 4 hours together. You better get the chance to plug your social media channels. How can people find you?
At that guy Sleazy. Sleazy is SLEEZY. But that's my Instagram and my YouTube. I don't, again, a lot of my missions were at night, so I don't have a crazy amount of combat footage. There's still some stuff that I have that I haven't uploaded, mostly just for OPSEC reason, operational security, just because my guys are still fighting in certain areas, and I'm not show ingress and degress positions and stuff like that. But
you don't want to give their position away.
Exactly. Or the villages that we stay in and the towns that we stay in and the houses and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, but that gets sleazy. I've started to do kind of doing what we're doing now. I kind of talking my way through my experiences in Ukraine is what I kind of got going on my channel, and then kind of Q&As, and then eventually hopefully start doing kind of what we're doing, just interviewing different veterans and shit like that have gone and fucking done some cool shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
so-
you kind of went full circle, You started in the Marine Corps, you got out, tried to go to the Army, back in the Marine Corps. It didn't work out. You went to Ukraine, fought with their army over there, or the militia or whatever. And
Yeah, the Army.
you're like, this is kind of fucked up. And then ultimately caused you to come back. You then go back, and then you go with Ukrainian Marines. So you started in the Marine Corps, and then you ended in a type of Marine Corps. It was just the Ukrainian Marine Corps and not the American Marine Corps. That's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. And you did some pretty heroic shit while you're over there, including getting fucking blown up and still wanting to go back. But you're looking at it this way. Even if you're on top of a Humvee, you wouldn't be able to see, and if your guys got hurt, you wouldn't be able to live with it. So that's very respectable and very mature and fucking smart, because I don't think any of us could ever live with one of our partners or teammates getting fucking killed because of our mistake.
Yeah. And I mean, I already have guys that I fought with and that I love, and I got they're dead. And I already have to live with that fucking guilt. So, I couldn't imagine my guilt of it being my fault that they passed. So. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and talking about it, and that's how people can find you. It's amazing when you can sit and just rap about something so interesting for it was four total hours of podcasting. So
we could probably go on for 4 more.
Yeah.
Oh, I easily could. About to say. I mean, I've
some of it for your own channel. If you're going to tell these stories, you can give them away for free here.
Exactly. About to say, I got some other good stories, and then obviously, just like every combat veteran, some stories are just for them and their brothers and stuff like that. But I got a lot of good stuff. Yeah, for sure.
We'll have to catch up with you. We'll have to catch up with you in the new year.
Yeah,
everyone, absolutely. I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year from me, because we've been doing this show now. I mean, I'm in the middle of doing another show, plus there's all these different things going on, and we still make time to do this because we love it. And we appreciate you guys showing up for the live shows and all the great stories and videos you guys send us asking us to debrief it. So just keep it coming. We're going to do more fun stuff like that next year. Chuck, what do you got?
Well, I want to say, everyone, have a Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year. If it's already passed, Happy New Year, happy belated Merry Christmas. I didn't say it on the last one. We're not at Christmas yet, so it's kind of odd and awkward. So have a Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all that stuff. And I want to thank you guys for listening today. And if you already follow us, please like and share our posts. How the algorithm gets us in front of more people, and it helps us grow. Like and share everything. Follow our YouTube. Hit that notification bell every time we release a podcast. You can get it on YouTube. You can even watch it when we release content live, or when we release the video along with the audio. If you already follow our Instagram and Facebook, like and share the post there. If you don't, our Instagram is @war_stories_official, and our Facebook is @war_stories_podcast. And then you can get the link in the bio. You can hit the YouTube if you forget about it, the booking email, the mailbag email, and our website. Our website is www.warstoriesofficial.com. We have some merch and some gear there. And if you think you have a story you want to share, you have a friend who you think might be a good fit for us, give them our booking email at booking.warstories@gmail.com. Again, that is booking.warstories@gmail.com. I can get you booked there. We're always looking for veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, medics, but also corrections, dispatchers, and nurses. We thank you for the support, and stay safe.
Yeah, so just so you know, Chuck, the future me in the past went forward in time and then backward in time. And part 3 came out as an early Christmas present on Christmas Eve, because Christmas Day was Monday. And then future past me today went back in time and then forward in time to release right now.
This is like the fucking Twilight Zone.
On December 31st as a New Year's Eve present. So we
This is
we have
wild.
part 3 came out on Christmas Eve, and part 4 came out today, which is New Year's Eve. So happy New Year, everybody. We will see you next year on War Stories. And until our next year, come home with your shield or on it.